Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, I'm going to talk about how to pronounce the past tense markers. How to pronounce the past tense markers. In the course of this lesson, we're going to answer questions from WASSCE past questions. So I urge you to watch this video attentively. The reason I'm doing this video today is because of a recent comment I got in my video on how to answer questions on rhymes. The person says, "This number 35 shocked me. Oh. Placed and caged sound alike na bikono. That's why I do not like this oral English show." This comment is from Okoro Tie Felix. So it's important for you to understand this topic so that you'll be able to understand how to answer questions on rhymes, how to answer questions in the sections on consonant sounds and on vowel sounds. Now let's get started. There are three ways of pronouncing the past tense markers. What I mean by past tense markers are D and ED that you add at the end of a word to make it past tense. So the D or E that's been added at the end of a word to make it past tense is a past tense marker. So there are three ways of pronouncing past tense markers. You can pronounce past tense markers as D. You can pronounce them as T. You can also pronounce them as ED. You can pronounce the past tense markers, the D or E at the end of a word that makes it past tense, as id, t, and d. So those are the three ways you can pronounce the past tense markers. You're already asking, how do I know when to pronounce a past tense marker as id, t, or d? Now, if a word ends in t, if the last sound of a word is t, the past tense marker will be pronounced as id. If the last sound of a word, if the last sound of a word is pronounced t or d, t or d, you pronounce the past tense marker as id. You pronounce the past tense marker as id. For example, wanted, wanted. The past tense marker is ed and it's pronounced id. Id, wanted, because the root word want ends with the sound t, t. So when you have a word that ends with the sound t, the past tense marker will be pronounced id. Wanted, granted, interested, taunted. So the word is not wanted, but wanted, wanted, and not wanted. The word is not interested, but interested, interested, and not interested. So when the last sound of a word is t, the past tense marker will be pronounced as id. This also applies to words that end in d, d. Words that end in d, the past tense markers are pronounced id. For example, needed, needed. The root word is need. It ends in d. So the id that makes it past tense will be pronounced id. Needed, mended, mended. The root word is mend, mend. So the id that's been added to mend to make it past tense is pronounced id, mended. Added, the word added, the last sound of add is d. So the id that's been added to add to make it past tense is pronounced id. So it's not added but added, added. I hope you're following. So when a word ends in t or d sound, you always pronounce the past tense marker as id. Like I said, there are three ways of pronouncing the past tense markers as id, t, and d. Now we've looked at how to pronounce past tense markers as id. Let's now see when to pronounce the past tense markers as t. When the last sound of a word is p, k, f, s, sh, ch, and f, then you should pronounce the past tense marker as t, t. This is because these sounds belong to voiceless consonants. Voiceless consonants. they are not voiced. Like when you're pronouncing these sounds, you do not feel vibration on your throat. You do not feel vibration on your throat. And when you pronounce them, it's like you are trying to force out sound. So they are voiceless consonants. Unlike voiced consonants, we'll still get to that. So this group of sound is called voiceless consonants. And when they end a word, you always pronounce their past tense markers as remember sh and ch are the sounds that when they end a word, you pronounce the past tense marker. The past tense marker, the D or ED that makes them past tense, you pronounce them as. Now let's see some examples. We have mopped, 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 mopped. Now the word mop ends in the sound which is voiceless, which is voiceless. Is among the sounds I gave you. So you're going to pronounce the past tense marker as another word, kicked, kicked. The ed at the end of kick is going to be pronounced as because the last sound of the root word kick ends in k sound, which is one of the voiceless consonants that I gave you. So pronounce the word as kicked, kicked, and not kicked, kicked, not kicked, mopped, not mopped. So when a word ends in the consonants that I gave you, pronounce the past tense markers as t, t. Now let's move to words that you have to pronounce their past tense markers as d. Now when a word ends in a vowel sound, you pronounce the past tense marker as d, d. For example, woo. The word woo. The last sound in the word woo is oo, which is a vowel sound. So when you have the past tense form of it, we are going to pronounce it as wood, wood, bad. The root word is bar, and the word bar ends in a vowel sound, ah. So the past tense marker is going to be pronounced as d. Another word is the word agree. The word agree ends in e, and e is a vowel sound. So the past tense marker is going to be pronounced as d, d. I hope you're following. So when you have a word that ends in a vowel sound, the past tense marker will be pronounced as d, d. Another place where you have to pronounce the past tense marker as d is when the last sound of a word is a voiced consonant. When the last phoneme of a word is a voiced consonant. Now, voiced consonants that usually end words include b, b, g, v, z, j, j, m, and So those are the voice consonants that you can see at the end of a word. So when you have these sounds at the end of a word, you should pronounce their past tense markers as d, d. Now let's see some examples. Words like bribed, bribed. The root word is bribe. So the last sound that you see in bribe is b, b, b. The last sound that you hear when you pronounce bribe is b, b. So you're not considering the e in front of b. Is the sound that we are considering. So the last sound b is a voiced consonant. It's among the list that I just gave you. It's a voiced consonant. So you are going to pronounce the past tense marker, the D that will be added to it to make it past tense. You're going to pronounce it as d, bribed, bribed, begged, begged, buzzed, buzzed. So when you have a voiced consonant at the end of a root word, you should pronounce the past tense marker as d. So we've learned how to pronounce the past tense markers as id, as t, and as d. Now let's answer questions on this topic from WASSCE past questions. Now let's look at this question from 2018. 2018. From the words lettered A to D, choose the word that has the same consonant sound or sounds as the one represented by the letter or letters underlined. Now we have the given word decided. Decided. Option A, bled. B, hid. C, skew. And D, hide. A, bled. B, hid. C, skew. And D, hide. The given word is decided. The underlined letters are the ed at the end of decided. Now, which of the options have the sound id? Id. Now, let's look at option A. We have option A, bled, is not the correct answer. Bled is not the correct answer. Option B, hid. Hid is the correct answer. HID, the ID in hid is pronounced id, and the id in decided is also pronounced id. So option B is the correct answer. Option C, skew. Skew is not the correct answer. It doesn't have id. And D, hide. Hide is not the correct answer. What we have there is hide and not id. So like I said, the correct answer is option B, hid. Decided, hid. The two of them have id in them. Now let's see another question on pronouncing past tense marker as t. In the same 2018, we have question 26. The given word is wept. Wept. The underlined letter is t in wept. Now we have option A, begged. Begged. The root word of the word begged is beg, and the last sound is g. The last sound of the root word in begged is g. G. Like I told you, g is a voiced consonant. So you're going to pronounce the ed, the past tense marker, as d. So it's not the correct answer. Now, option B, we have bombed. 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 Now, what's the last sound in the word bombed? The last sound in the word bombed, or the last sound in the root word of the word bombed, is mm. Mm. Is it a voiced consonant or a voiceless consonant? Is a voiced consonant. Is a voiced consonant. So you're going to pronounce it bombed. Bombed. Now, option C. Option C, we have caused. 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 The S in cause is pronounced z and not is not cause. You caused me to do it. No, it's you caused me to do it. You caused me to do it. Caused, not caused. So the last sound in the root word cause is z. Z. Now, z, is it voiced or voiceless? It is voiced. It's a voiced consonant. So we're going to pronounce the past tense marker as d. D. Now the last option, option D, stopped. Stopped. The last sound in the root word stopped is p. Is it a voiced consonant or a voiceless consonant? Is it a voiceless consonant or a voiced consonant? It's a voiceless consonant. It's a voiceless consonant. And when a word has the last sound as a voiceless consonant, you're going to pronounce the past tense marker as what? T. So we have stopped, which is the correct answer. We have wept, wept, and stopped. The two of them have the t sound at the end. We have t in wept and t in stopped. Now let's see another question from the past questions, and this one has to do with pronouncing the past tense marker as t. Question 28 in 2014 past questions. We have from the word lettered A to D, choose the word that has the same sound, the same consonant sound or sounds as the one represented by the letter or letters underlined. Now we have question 28 from 2014. We have the given word did. Did. The underlined letter is D. The first D. That's the underlined letter. So we have option A, handsome, B, marked, C, banked, and D, learned. So which one is the correct answer? Option A, handsome. Handsome, the D in handsome is silent, so we don't pronounce it. So it's not the correct answer. Option B, option B, marked. Marked. The last sound of the root word in marked is is a voiceless consonant. So it's not the correct answer because the past mark is going to be pronounced as t and not as d. Option C, we have banked. Banked. So it's not the correct answer because the last sound in banked is k, just like you have in option B. Now, option D, in option D, we have learned. Learned. So the D in learned is pronounced D. D. The last sound in the word learned is D. D, which is the same as the first sound in the word did. We have D as the first sound in the word did, and we have D as the last sound in the word learned. So option D, learned, is the correct answer. So you see why it's important for you to understand this topic because it's going to help in answering questions in the oral English paper, in answering questions on consonant sounds, answering questions on vowel sounds, and in answering questions on rhymes. So please, I need you to click on the like button. If you learned something from this video, click on the like button, share the video to your friends on your social media platforms, and subscribe to the channel if you've not already subscribed. See you very soon in another video, and bye for now.